Hey Truman School, it's Mrs. Thornton again. So you got to see me do a little DIY project on this bench a few weeks ago, and this is what it ended up coming out like. We painted it and primed it, and we've got a nice cushion on it. And I'm here today with my kindergarten classroom, KC3, to share with you a story about why we need to have a bench like this at Truman School. This is a story about a little boy who doesn't like recess. The recess is supposed to be the most fun time of the entire day, but this little boy does not like recess time because he never has someone to play with. It's called the invisible boy because when all of the other children are outside playing, he feels like no one ever sees him. Let's find out about this boy. This is a story by Trudy Ludwig, The Invisible Boy. It's illustrated by Patrice Barton. If you'd like to get it from the library, it's a great story. Here we go. You're going to see my very good listeners listening to The Invisible Boy. Can you see Brian, the invisible boy? Even Mrs. Carlotti has trouble noticing him in her classroom. She's always too busy dealing with Nathan and Sophie. Nathan has problems with what Mrs. Carlotti calls volume control. He uses his outside voice inside too much. Sophie whines and complains when she doesn't get her way. Nathan and Sophie take up a lot of space. Brian doesn't. You notice the difference in the color between these children? Pay attention, extra close attention to the colors. When the bell rings for recess, Micah and JT take turns choosing kids for their kickball teams. The best players get picked first. Then the best friends of the best players. Then the friends of the best friends. Only Brian is left standing, still waiting and hoping. JT glances in Brian's direction and just as quickly looks away. "We've got enough players for each team," he tells the others. "Let's play ball." Look at poor Brian. In the cafeteria, Madison and her friends talk about her birthday party. "The rope swing over the pool was so awesome," says JT. "Yeah, so was the water slide," adds Fiona. "That was the best pool party ever." "I'm so glad you guys had fun," said Madison. Everybody did, except Brian. He wasn't invited. At choosing time, while the other kids play board games and read, Brian sits at his table doing what he loves to do best. He draws fire-breathing dragons scaling tall buildings, space aliens locked in intergalactic battles, greedy pirates digging for treasures, and superheroes with the power to make friends wherever they go. On Monday morning, Mrs. Carlotti introduces Justin, a new student, to the class. Brian smiles shyly at him. Some of the other kids sneak looks at Justin, trying to figure out if he's cool enough to be their friend. They haven't quite made up their minds yet. Look at Brian. He's got a little color in his face. What might he be thinking?
He's going to be his friend.
Maybe he's fine. At lunch, Madison and JT watch Justin eat with chopsticks. "What's that?" asks Madison as she points at Justin's food. "It's bulgogi." What? Bulgogi. It's Korean barbecue beef. My grandma made it for me. It's really good. Do you want to try some? "There's no way I'd eat boogerji." And the kids all laugh. All of them, that is, except Brian. He sits there wondering which is worse, being laughed at or feeling invisible. The next day, when Justin goes to his cubby to put away his backpack, he notices a piece of paper with his name on it. "Justin, I thought the bulgogi looked good." Brian, and he wrote, "Yum." At morning recess, Brian finds a piece of chalk on the ground and starts drawing away. "Hey, you're Brian, right?" "Yeah." "Thanks for the note." "Hey, Justin!" Emilio calls out from the tetherball court. "You're next!" "Sorry, I gotta go," says Justin. "By the way, that's a really cool drawing," he adds, before taking off. But in class, Mrs. Carlotti asks the kids to team up in 2s or 3s for a special project. The kids scurry around the room to pair off. Brian heads toward Justin. I'm already with Justin, says Emilio. Find someone else. Brian looks at the floor, wishing he could draw a hole right there to swallow him up. Mrs. Carlotti said we can have up to 3 people in our group. We're only 2. Come on, Emilio, let him work with us. Okay, I guess. Mrs. Carlotti gave the class directions for the project. Your assignment is to work together to write a story about what you see in that photograph. Use your imaginations and have fun. Whoa, cool, says Emilio. What kind of people do you think would live in houses like that? I don't know, but I bet Brian could draw them to go with our story, said Justin. Brian smiles as he takes out his lucky pen. Look at all these projects they're working on. Look at these drawings that they've made. It's lunchtime again. Brian's least favorite part of the day. Another 20 long minutes of kids talking and laughing with everyone else but him. Brian! He hears someone shout. Hey, Brian, over here! Brian turns to see Justin waving him over. Emilio nods at Brian, and he makes room for him at the table.
That's nice.
Cookie? Thanks. Maybe, just maybe, Brian's not so invisible after all. That's the end of the story.
Well, that was short.
Well, boys and girls, we never ever want anyone to feel like Brian at Truman School. And that's the reason we brought this bench here. Remember, I told you it was going to be for a special project, and the project's called the Buddy Bench Project. And Miss M is going to be telling everyone more about it and how they can help to make sure no one ever feels left out at Truman School.
All right, thanks, KC3.
Thank you.
We say goodbye?
Bye.